Hey Falcon fans, I'm Thomas Mott. Welcome into Atlanta Falcons Today. We're going to jump into Falcons News and Rumors here on a Monday. First, though, mailbag call, right? So if you want to get your mailbag questions answered, just go down below in the comments section, use the hashtag Falcons, ask for any question you possibly want, and be a subscriber, and I'll pull your question and answer it in a mailbag video in the coming days. So again, mailbag coming up, go down below, hashtag Falcons. All right, let's jump in the latest Atlanta Falcons news and rumors here on a Monday. And there's some interesting stuff that we'll begin with in terms of the offensive line. So you probably saw, if you're on the Twitterverse, which most of you guys are, that the Steelers had a surprise releasing of Pro Bowl guard David DeCastro last week. And you go, whoa, the Steelers have a bad offensive line. Now they're letting go of DeCastro. That's got to be crazy. What's going on? Well, the report is that Castro is battling an ankle injury, and it's so bad to the point that he's mulling retiring and ending his career and hanging it up for good. However, that's not official, and so there are thoughts that if he rehabs well enough, there could be a team out there that would sign him and insert him as a starting guard on their offensive line. Why not the Atlanta Falcons? Because the Atlanta Falcons offense, having a current injury with Matt Gono, undisclosed injury. We talked about that last week. We have no idea how long Gono's going to be out. If it's a long-term injury, then taking a look at DeCastro, if he's going to be healthy, could be a very viable option. Sports Talk ATL had a good write-up on this. We'll throw it up on the screen right now. Quote, apparently DeCastro is battling an ankle injury and is mulling his future. I was still shocked he was released. I figured they would bury that guy under Heinz Field. However, DeCastro does decide to give it a go in 2021. Falcons have to make their best effort to sign him. With Matt Gono injured for an undisclosed amount of time, and the interior offensive line still a massive question mark, this is a sign that makes way too much sense. The two-time All-Pro and six-time Pro Bowl is only 31, would immediately improve the Falcons' offensive line that has had problem spots for years, end quote. Now, I agree with all of that. I will say, I don't think the Falcons' offensive line is as bad as people say. Yes, there are question marks. How good is Matt Hennessy going to be? Will Matt Gono be healthy? Like, if he's there, then that's fine. What's going to happen in terms of the right side of the offensive line? Are Chris Lindstrom and Caleb McGarry finally going to step into the first-round draft pick status that they really should be playing at, the level they should be playing at right now? So I understand the Falcons' offensive line is not anything great, but I'm not going to sit back and make an argument that they're absolutely garbage or terrible as they are right now. Now, DeCastro would make them a lot better. But in order to sign him and throw money at a six-time Pro Bowler and a two-time All-Pro, DeCastro must be 100%. Like, there's no scenario where you would even think about David DeCastro unless he literally gets approved by the doctors and is 1,000,000% ready to go. If he is, then sure, go ahead and sign him. I mean, I'm all for it. Move some money around, create some space. He's not going to be that expensive because he is 31 years old, and sign him. So I'm all for the idea of signing DeCastro. You just have to, again, have him at a point where he's 100% healthy, because if the offensive line plays well, the Falcons' offense is going to be just fine. I mean, regardless of Julio Jones being there, we talked about that. Like, they still have Kyle Pitts, they have Calvin Ridley, Russell Gage, maybe a good running game with Mike Davis. Don't know about that, but they can be good as long as they're able to go ahead and protect Matt Ryan. Now, speaking of the offensive line struggling last year, Pro Football Focus ranked them 31st in the National Football League, which is a little bizarre, but I want to throw the quote up on the screen here to tie everything together. Here's Pro Football Focus, quote, the biggest issue of the Falcons comes as their at left guard and center pairing. Departure of Alex Mack and Jim Carpenter leaves Matt Hennessy potentially partnering with Matt Gono. Hennessy had a 4.5% blown block rate in pass protection, while Gono was over 7%, largely playing at right tackle. Josh Andrews can improve the left guard position if he can beat out the rest of the Falcons' O-line depth chart, end quote. Couple of thoughts here, again, quickly. Carpenter wasn't that good. I mean, Pro Football Focus is pretending like James Carpenter was some sort of hero at left guard, which is not the case at all. And as it mentioned, Gono played some right tackle last year when McGarry was out, and he's not supposed to be playing right tackle. So I think the offensive line is severely underrated. I think they can be pretty good this year. I don't think they can be top 10, top 5, but top 15 is all you need when you have Matt Ryan at quarterback, Kyle Pitts at tight end, and Calvin Ridley on the outside. So what are you going to do? Okay, let me ask you guys this. Who will the Falcons have? Will the Falcons have a top 15 offensive line in 2021? Like, what do you think? Top 15, right? I mean, Pro Football Focus has them 31st overall, which is crazy. I think they'll be top 20, but will they be top 15? Let me know what you guys think. Again, will they be a top 15 offensive line in 2021? Type Y down below for yes. If you think that they won't, then type N down below for no. And then I think if you say no, then that means you want them to sign DeCastro if he's healthy. That way it'd be a little better, right? It makes sense. Again, Y down below for yes. If you think no, then go down below and type N down below for no. All right, before we go and keep going on today's video, download the Newsbreak app to keep up to date with the local news, weather, sports, and politics, all at the touch of your finger. A lot better than picking up a local newspaper, even going to a website with a local newspaper, because you get to choose what you follow and who you see. Download the Newsbreak app right now, chatsports.com/FalconsNB. That's the place to go ahead and download the app for your Android device or your Apple iPhone. And then just look for us, Atlanta Falcons Today, or Falcons Today, by Chat Sports, a little search bar, and you can get all of our content on your Newsbreak app as well. So download the Newsbreak app today. Link is down below in the description box. All right, we're jumping into some more Falcons news and rumors here on today's video. We've talked about Kyle Pitts a lot here on this channel, but a couple of articles came out talking about how Pitts is going to be the factor in making or breaking the Falcons offense, which is interesting, and I don't know if it's true. Let's dive into it together. So Pitts, of course, he was seen this past week with Hayden Hurst at Tight End University, which is getting a lot of attention right now because the news is really bleak in terms of the Falcons. Like, there's not a lot going on. And so when you see Kyle Pitts alongside guys like George Kittle getting coached up together, I mean, you sit back and you go, oh, that's cool. And the national media posts it on Twitter and freaks out, even though really not that big of a deal. Now, the question is just how good Kyle Pitts can be in 2021. And CBS Sports' Jason La Canfora thinks that it will turn Pitts' success and Pitts' stats will determine just how good the Falcons offense can be overall. Here was La Canfora's from CBS Sports on Kyle Pitts. Quote, "This team thinks it can still contend, and he should get a heavy target share after the Julio Jones salary dump. It won't be enough to offset a bad defense, but could go a long way in determining how long Matt Ryan sticks around," end quote. That's fair. But as I've talked about a lot, I think Kyle Pitts' expectations are crazy. Like, I think the national media hyped him up so much as the 4th overall draft pick, the highest graded tight end in NFL draft history, should have been the first round draft pick, that we are setting ourselves up for a disappointing year for Kyle Pitts. Now, maybe he does ball out and he catches 8 touchdowns and goes for 800 yards and we go, yep, that's why you drafted him 4th overall. Expectations were correct. But the problem that you got to realize is that the majority of young tight ends who became good were not good their rookie year. Like, there's no real precedent for a rookie tight end dominating in his first year. Like, take George Kittle, for example, probably the most recent tight end who was a mid-round draft pick, ended up being a superstar. Here's his rookie numbers. 43 catches, 515 yards, 2 touchdowns, 12.0 yards per reception. Right? That's very average. Like, that's not very good at all. That's pretty similar to what, like, Hayden Hurst did last year. Majority of an average tight end season is 500 yards, a couple of touchdowns, and about 43 catches. But the expectations for Pitts are so high that you would have to double that in order for us to be even semi-happy with what Pitts' return was as a 4th overall draft pick. Like, he needs 80 catches and 1,000 yards and 7 touchdowns for us to go, okay, yep, worth 4th overall. Now, I'm not saying that Pitts will eventually be good. I think to year 2, year 3, Pitts is going to be one of the best tight ends in the National Football League and an absolute beast on the offensive side of the football. But going into the season, people are saying that it's all riding on Pitts to be great. Might be in for a letdown, due to the fact that, again, it's very rare for rookie tight ends to come out and be great. Now, again, I know, I'm going to say it one more time, I understand why they took him 4th overall. I get the idea that he's the greatest prospect that we've seen. I think he's going to be better than a Kittle was in his first year. But I think that the expectations should be lowered just a little bit, again, because history tells us rookie tight ends do take a while to figure things out, regardless of how big and strong and their size and their abilities. Gronk wasn't that good in his first year. Tony Gonzalez wasn't that good in his first year. Like, the majority of them don't perform well their first year, and hopefully Pitts is the outlier here, but more likely than not, he'll be the exception. Assuming he'll be the rule, not the exception. What is your over-under for Kyle Pitts' touchdowns in 2021? I'm putting it at 6 right now. What do you think about this? Over-under 6 touchdowns for Pitts in 2021. O for over, U for under. I think you got to go over. The expectation, he needs to have more than 6 touchdowns. Give me your thoughts down below right now. Again, O is for over 6 touchdowns. U would be for under. If he has less than 6 touchdowns, then Houston, we have a problem. That 4th overall draft is going to look a little bit, too expensive, and they spent a little bit too much on him. But give me your thoughts in the comments section. Okay, before we're going to keep going here for our final story of the day, make sure you guys are subscribed to Atlanta Falcons Today, as we're trying to go ahead and get to 4,000 subscribers and 5,000 and up to 10. We're growing here at a great rate, and I appreciate each and every one of you. But if you've not subscribed yet, you love what we do here on the Falcons channel, go down below and hit the red subscribe button. Also, click the notification bell, the way you're notified whenever we drop our latest videos. All right, final story here comes via NFL.com's Adam Shine, who, interesting character, by the way, if you've followed Adam Shine's career. He's funny, but he's interesting. He ranked the top teams that have not won a Super Bowl in terms of likelihood to win a Super Bowl this year. So it's not likely to win a Super Bowl going forward, but just this year, here are the teams, the 8+ teams who have not won a Super Bowl ever in franchise history. Here are the guys who can go ahead and have the best chance at winning. And honestly, it's not a bad list. I think the list is pretty darn accurate. The Falcons come in at 8th, which is why it's a little weird, but we'll get your thoughts on that here as we throw up the first 4. So here's Shine's first 4, the best 4 in terms of chances to win the Super Bowl this year. Buffalo won, no shocker there. The Bills, obviously, an actually stacked roster. Josh Allen, a beast. I mean, literally, I totally agree. Browns, 2, yes, a very complete roster. Have a great defense as well. Myles Garrett and that pass rush are fantastic. They had a good draft as well. I think the Titans and Cardinals at 4 and 5, or 3 and 4, honestly makes sense. I think the Cardinals roster has gotten really, really good, and they had another good offseason and a good draft. Then you go to 5 through 8, and see the Chargers and Justin Herbert. Okay, it makes sense. Vikings at number 6, Bengals at 7, Falcons at 8. Now, that's where it's a little interesting. I don't know if the Bengals are better set up to win this year. I guess the thought process is that Joe Burrow would ball out with Jamar Chase, but the offensive line is still a struggle there. Not saying that the Bengals are a much worse roster than the Falcons, but it's interesting. Atlanta sits there at 8, ahead of number 9, who was Carolina, not pictured, which I think makes sense because, I think Sam Darnold's going to win the Super Bowl in year 1. But I think this list is, pretty accurate, right? We can sit back and complain, but the Bills roster is really great. The Browns roster is really great. So is the Titans, the Cardinals. Those are all better rosters than the Falcons. Maybe not the Bengals and Vikings, but that's a song for another day. I don't think we expect the Falcons to go ahead and win the Super Bowl this year. I think the playoffs is kind of the hope, kind of the ceiling, but a Super Bowl run would be something that would be unprecedented and not aforementioned. However, the Hawks were not supposed to be where they're at right now in the Eastern Conference Finals, and the Hawks are a couple of wins away from the NBA Finals. So anything can happen. Been a crazy year overall in the ATL. All right, ultimately for today here on Atlanta Falcons Today. Get you guys the latest update on the news and rumors. I'm your host, Thomas Mott, signing off for the rest of your day.